Okay, hey guys, what's going on? This is going to be pretty quick, but I mentioned it in a Naval Ops Worship Gunner video recently about the model ships that I've built. I've only built a few. These are all the ones I've built, and from left to right, they're the first and last ones that I have made, or most recent, I should say. Not last, I'm not done making models, but the very first one I ever made is, technically, it's a model of the Uss Missouri, Revel, like 1 in... I don't remember exactly what the scale is. It's either 1 in 700 or 1 in like 500 and something. Probably 1 in 700, but... Whoopsies, there goes... Yep. I covered the camera for a sec. And if it would focus, there you go. So this is the very first model ship that I ever made. I picked this up when I went to see the USS Massachusetts in Massachusetts, and I don't know why, but I saw this in the gift store, and I thought, like, oh, that would be cool to do, and it took me a while to actually do it, because I had to get all the paints and the brushes and all that stuff, and my dad helped me out with it, because, you know, it was my first model, and he had done some way back in high school, so we worked together on this one, and I think it came out pretty nice with the deck and stuff. You can tell it's an older model, because if I get close to some of these parts, it'll focus. Two hands on the camera now. Focus on that. Focus. It's hard to see. But there we go, kind of saw it for a second. Basically, it's not going to focus quite well. You can see there are seams and stuff that are not quite aligned. And there we go. So this, I think this model was either cut out or laser cut or print or whatever they were doing back at the time in like the 50s. So it's a very old kit. So some of the plastic was not aligned correctly, and it made for a somewhat frustrating build, but in the end I think it came out okay. This is actually probably, well, honestly, it's probably one of my better looking models as far as the painting goes and stuff. I really took my time with this one, and then some of the other ones I sorta, not really rushed, but I was excited to get them done, so we shall move that out of the way and then bring up my second model. This is the one I said in the Naval Ops video that I would not recommend doing as a second model, or even in your top, your first 5 models, because this is extremely tiny. This is a Nimitz class aircraft carrier. It's supposed to be the Nimitz herself, but my decal got a little ripped there, as you can see. I had a lot of problems with this. The waterline is extremely unstraight on my model because it had waterline decals, black waterline decals, but it didn't have any markers in the plastic to show you where to put them. So didn't end up using those, and ended up, just trying to hand do the waterline, which was very difficult. But anyways, the deck decals came out pretty good, I think. Again, a little piece of decal ripped off here, so I had to do my best to try and paint in the rest of the red and white, which was not particularly easy, because those are some very small margins for red and white, but there are small sections of color, but lots and lots of aircraft all over the place, and the bridge, oh boy, the bridge, that fell down a couple times, even after. So when I brought these from my parents' house to where I'm living now, that pretty much entire tower up there had fallen off, and to prop it up while I glued it, I had it sitting between like that napkin rack and a coffee cup, just holding it in exactly where I needed it to be, and even still it's like leaning just the slightest bit, but I thought that was a goner, and then I managed to get it fixed back up. So the decals came out pretty good. This one ended up being a little crooked, but, not bad. Overall, came out pretty nice, I think, but again, I wouldn't recommend that for a starter like myself, like I was at the time. And this is probably my favorite model, just overall, that I've done. This is the third one I made. This is the USS Arizona, and I love this thing. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, on this particular Revel model, the main guns can turn. The angle of the barrels cannot change, but main guns can turn. Even this one, even though it's a little hard, I was a little excessive on the glue that I used to keep those in there, but that's pretty cool. And then these can also turn, as you can see, like so. And even the little 5-inch barbettes, well, the bottom ones at least, not these top ones, they can't move, but The bottom ones can all move, and so can the main guns, which is pretty cool. But the Uss Arizona, I've managed to get a very nice straight waterline on this, even though it was mostly freehand, because I found a cool trick online, where basically, let's say that this pen, right, is the marker. You use a black Sharpie marker, and you set it on something that is about the same height, like a book or something that's about the height of where you want the water line, and just move the hull, keep your hand pressed on the marker in the book so that it keeps all of that steady, and just move the hull along the marker so it makes a nice straight water line. And then I just thickened it out a little bit with paint. But yeah, it came out very nicely. The water line did, I mean, all things considered. Oh, these cranes in the middle, I need to be careful not to break anything. The cranes in the middle can move as well. All of the lifeboats are nice and stacked on top of each other there. The bridge gave me some serious problems. The rear tripod mast gave me some serious trouble just trying to get it to sit where it's supposed to. But for the most part, came out just fine. Looks pretty much fine. So there's also, you can see the the catapult fighter on top of the turret, who which moves with the turret as it would have in real life. And this catapult back here also moves, as well as this crane. So lots of cool moving parts. I really like that. Also, I should mention this the Uss Missouri here. This model does not have a rudder. Well, it has a rudder, but it only has one rudder and it has no propellers. The Nimitz model, if I can grab it, there we go, does have little tiny propellers and two rudders, and I think that came out really good. The little brass propellers look really nice. They stand out so much, if it'll focus. Man, let's see if I can fix the focus. Focus on those. Well, they were focused a minute ago. Oh, come into focus now, maybe? It's hard to see, but yeah, those little brass propellers look pretty nice on there. But we have a similar thing here on the back of the Arizona. One rudder. I don't know if the actual ship had more than one rudder, but some nice brass propellers and everything there. The name Arizona, I probably can't, it's not focusing, but the name Arizona on the back. But this is almost certainly my favorite model that I've done. And then the most recent ship model that I did is this here. This is PT-109, famously captained by, I don't know if captained is the right term, but captained by John F. Kennedy, who of course would go on to be President of the United States. And yeah, this one was very straightforward. This green here that you see is actually the base color of the model when I opened it up. And I thought I would just go ahead and leave it. I don't have a ton of paint on hand, so... And then these are all a nice gray. There's even people. So there is, let's get my finger in here, 1, 2, 3, 4 people. So, right there. And, you got the 20mm Oerlikon on the back. You've got I think they called it the Stinger. It's basically just two 30 cal machine guns, two M1919 Brownings stuck next to each other. The same kind of thing you'd see in the back of a Dauntless dive bomber. Got two of those little gun mantlets there. 4 torpedo tubes. No depth charges on the back of this one. And this is, if you were a really fancy modeler, you would actually be able to put rigging on these. So you'd run the rigging from, there's a little tiny peg right in front of my finger there. So you'd run it from there up around to a loop that is supposed to be here that actually literally just fell off as I was taking it out of the display case, and then back around those hooks on that side and back up to a loop over there. But of course I'm not that proficient of a modeler, so I was not going to try that. Now this is also one of my favorite parts about this thing. Oh, and again, the nice brass propellers and rudders and whatnot, which is pretty cool, I think. But this was one of my favorite parts to do, because this is the part that I spent quite a bit of time painting, because I wanted it to come out nicely. So this is the little symbol of the torpedo squadron, and it's hard to make out. Come on, focus. There we go. And it is supposed to be a mosquito riding a torpedo, which is pretty cool. And I spent quite a bit of time you know, changing the paint on this, adding some paint here and there, taking it away. And I'm no artist, obviously, but I'm really glad with how it ended up coming out. And it says PT109. It's just a little base for it to sit on. So that is every plastic model I've done up to now, up to and including now. And the next model I have to build is an SBD Dauntless, and then after that I'm all out of plastic models in reserve. I just got to find the time to get started on that one, and I probably need more blue paint, because that's going to take a lot of blue paint. It's a large plane. When I have it done, I can make an update video to this one. But there we go. So those are all the models I built in succession from left to right, first model to most recent. So I hope that was pretty cool. I know I'm not any kind of professional artist or anything, so don't, you know, I hope you didn't expect too much more than that. But anyways, there it is. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And as always, hope to see you all in the next video.